Hello, this is TW. Welcome back. Before we get into the story, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. It's free and only require you to click on the button below. It would really help my channel a lot. Thanks. Well then, let's start by turning down the background, shall we? Today, we have a ProRevenge story posted by user GA_Armstrong318. Let's start the story. So this happened sometime in the 2010s, somewhere in the UK. That's all I'm revealing. I worked for a medium-sized PLC in a small team that worked with the sales department getting quotes. I had previously worked in another team in a different department in the same company as well. This also includes elements of malicious compliance. I'll post this there as well. So to set the scene, the company had recently had some issues with regulators, and senior management were either oblivious to the damage they were doing or didn't care. They were trying to save costs, but going about it all the right way. So my team consists of 6 team members and a manager. We were fairly busy and often help out on other teams as well, and they would in turn help us. This is important for later. So we are all called into a meeting without warning and told that due to declining work tickets, they were laying 2 of us off. They did say 2 people were safe, the manager and his sidekick. They made us reapply for our jobs, including doing a test, following the letter of the law on redundancy, which had nothing to do with our roles. It also became apparent during the process that the company flat out lied, or at the very minimum manipulated the data used to come up with their conclusion of falling ticket numbers. They dropped by 13 from year 1 to year 3. Bear in mind it was a total of several thousand tickets a year. In the end, the company carried on and 2 team members were removed and made redundant. One of whom took a golden handshake, the other sued the company for various things, not really worthy of mention here, and won. After the dust settled, it also became apparent manager secured his sidekick's position despite him being the worst member of the team in terms of work done and work quality. So in the weeks after, the entire team were too busy to help other teams who then stopped helping us. So a huge backlog of tickets also built up. We also got threatened with disciplinary proceedings if our backlog didn't come down, but was also refused any overtime. During the process, we had also been admonished for skipping steps and getting quotes. Steps that often took a significant amount of time and served no purpose. So me and 2 other remaining, not including sidekick who had his nose so far up manager's rear ended and came out of his mouth, decided to do everything by the book, down to every last bullet point. This made the backlog of work even worse, but they couldn't say anything. One week, we had another meeting with HR, the sales director, and our manager to discuss the issues. We all calmly said, "We are sorry, but we have to follow the guidelines and rules laid down, and this is as fast as we can work." We were also asked to start helping out the other teams again, as we should be team players. Again, we said, "We are sorry, but we can't. Our workload is too high, and it's also not in our contracts that we have to do other teams' work." This went on for several months, and management still refused to believe we were overworked. When it was time for holidays, we realized they hadn't changed the amount of people allowed off from 3. So we all booked holidays. They both went abroad, and I decided to visit family the other end of the UK. Of course, when manager realized a week before, he went nuts, and another meeting with HR was called. We all calmly said, "Sorry, but we checked the rules for our team, and 3 people out of 4, manager could do what he likes, can be off at any one time." And again stood our ground and all went on leave for 2 weeks each. This caused even more chaos at work, as you can imagine. The sales director after this hatched a plan to get the Indian teams. We had offices in India and other offshore places to be trained up by us and to help us. However, they demanded we fly out to spend weeks there training them. Again, we all refused, as it's not in our contracts to be trainers or to have to work abroad. They ignored the fact I didn't have a passport at this point. So, poor manager and his sidekick traveled out and trained them for weeks. Eventually, both stayed for over 2 months and failed to train them. We would send low-effort tickets to them, and they would screw it up. And we simply said, sorry to fix this, we need to do it again. So after 6 months, they gave that idea up entirely. After around a year or so of this, I'm being deliberately vague on timing, so please don't ask about it. We all decided to all seek other employment, having found we all could not trust the company or manager anymore. And we all found roles elsewhere within a week of each other, so all handed our 4-week notices, again to the letter of our employment contracts, and were due to all leave on the same day. Now, the female member of the team, who was a very learned person, and she revealed in all our contracts any documentation we create is ours, and we can deal with it how we wish when we leave. So we hatched a plan. In the final week we are there, we move all our digital stuff in one location, including all my manuals and cheat sheets for my previous team. They both did the same with their previous positions within the company. On our final day, we bring in our own external drives and with IT's help download and remove all documentation and deleted the copies on the company systems. We all said our goodbyes and at the end of the day quite happily told our manager what we had done. He exploded and demanded it back. And we calmly tell him, not according to the letter of our contracts, this, waving the drives at him, is ours, and we chose to remove it with us. We were later told by friends who remained that the sales director had a fit because now no one was doing quotes for him. Gladly, we all have had great new places and keep in touch. And that's the end of the story. Well, all I can say is this is what happened to a company if you let someone who clearly didn't know how the company works make decision for it. They will have unrealistic goals and got mad because their workers can't seem to show results. And somehow, they can't seem to see that it is their own fault. Well, that's it for the story today. Again, please subscribe if you haven't yet. It's just a simple click on my icon near the end of the video or the button right below. Some people might ask, why? My answer is this. 1. It is free. I don't see why not. 2. You get an extra video every day to enjoy even though I'm not your first pick. Isn't that great? Even if you ran out of videos to watch, you still have me, sitting in a jazzy bar, waiting to tell you more interesting stories. 3. It gave me some emotional support to keep making videos, as it does get kinda sad and lonely to keep uploading without any people watching, you know. If you already did, please know that I really appreciate that. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time. Have a great night.